Good afternoon, Islanders, and that was me slightly out of practice, and in sort of honor of Clarence Clemens, the saxophone player for Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, who died this week. Anyway, yeah, I got glasses, and it's kind of turning into a problem right now, because as you can see, my computer screen is reflecting off them, and I'm trying to figure out a situation where that doesn't happen, but no such luck. Anyway, this week we've started our book club with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. First, about Harry Potter musical, before I forget, I have seen the first one, but I haven't seen a Harry Potter sequel yet, because I don't like watching long things like that on my computer, so I actually downloaded the last one from YouTube and watched it on my Xbox, but I haven't found a way to do that with Harry Potter sequel yet. Probably do that sometime in the future, probably this summer when I get bored. So I have a few points that from the intro Deathly Hallows' first 10 chapters that I'd like to talk about. Not very many of them, because the intro is actually kind of boring. First, a small story. Up to the release of Deathly Hallows, I was checking fan sites because I had at the time only just discovered that there were such fan sites on the internet, and I think I was reading MuggleNet, and someone submitted something that had a purported leak of the first chapter or two, and I read like the first couple paragraphs, and I had no idea if it was legit or not. But it certainly sounded legit, and looking back, it's like, wow, yeah, that was legit. That was a leak, and I was spoiled. But fortunately, I had the good sense even back then to not read too far in, and I think I just read the part about where two men were walking up the path or whatever. But anyway, it's a very cinematic intro, and I like it a lot better than I liked Book 6, Half-Blood Prince, because in Half-Blood Prince you have the whole thing with the First Minister, which is good, it's a good intro. Then right after that you have the Unbreakable Vow thing with Snape and Bellatrix and Narcissa. And I think those two chapters just made it so boring for me. I don't like starting the 6th book just because of those two chapters. This one is basically, the intro with Voldemort, and then you're put right back with Harry, and that's a very good way to start it. Anyway, the first point on my list is Hagrid as an old guy. He reminds me just of an old guy, and if you think about it, he is, because he's at least almost as old as Voldemort, Tom Riddle, and so he'd be like 60 at the time of the book's events. I just say that because I see a lot of one of my grandparents in Hagrid. Something else I wanted to discuss was Ron. Obviously, Book 7, for the most part, was written after the movies had come out, and Rupert Grint, obviously has always played the part of Ron. And in this book, Ron's humor really comes out, and you can really just picture Rupert Grint doing it, because Rupert Grint has gone into all this other comedy stuff with his other movies and his the whole ice cream truck thing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's pretty funny. But I feel like J.K. Rowling has kind of written in Rupert Grint into the part in her books a little bit in this one. The last chapter we read was Creature's Tale, and that is probably my second favorite sequence, the whole creature with Voldemort thing in the entire book. My first one is The Prince's Tale. Not a lot to geek out about here in these chapters, but I'm definitely looking forward to the movie. Definitely looking forward to finishing the rest of this book. Be interesting to see what you guys say in the coming weeks, and Anna, I will see you tomorrow.